I'm Nick Price from Nick's Warehouse in Belfast, and today we're at the Mourne Seafood Cookery School, and we're going to make my signature dish, which is baked hake pepperonata. In the dish we've got very simple ingredients. It's got onions, garlic, fresh tomatoes, peppers, a little white wine, and I put a few chili flakes into it, just give it a wee bit of a lift. Tiny bit of vinegar, just to sharpen the contrast. And because tomatoes now never really have any ripeness to them, I always put a little tiny bit of sugar in with it as well, okay? And a wee bit of dill as well. So we're going to make the sauce, and then we're going to take the fish down. A bit of oil. I'm just going to sweat off these onions and the garlic, just to soften them down, and then gradually add the other ingredients as we go along. I'll chop this dill up. I always like to soften my onions just to get that kind of caramelization thing going and to make it a lot more digestible whenever you eventually come to eat it. And a tiny little bit of flaked chili in with it. Now, and when I say tiny, I mean just like a quarter of a teaspoon. Don't want to blow your heads off whenever you taste it. But they're a very useful ingredient. I like sort of thing I like to have in the store cupboard. Now I'm just going to put in some of these mixed peppers. The onions are nicely softened now. I don't know if any of you ever tried to write a recipe, but it's quite challenging really, because you know, chefs just sort of gather great handfuls of stuff and throw it in, and if you want to write a recipe for a book, I had to be terribly disciplined and measure everything. So I actually had to have a friend help me to, I would cut it all up, and then she would follow behind me with the scales and say, right, that's 400 grams of peppers and 200 grams of onions. And my wife is not a cook, really. She does cook, but if you have a dog, you know, why bark yourself? Now, fish are wonderful. They have little lines for you to follow. So I'm going to go down the back of the backbone, just cut in the top. I'm going to make little steaks. You can, maybe towards the end, I might actually cut off a bit at the back, just to show you the difference of the thing. You make nice little steaks with it. The Spanish love this fish. Andrew was telling me at Christmas time, you get a real premium for it. A bit like a lot of the continentals, they obviously don't have turkey. They have fish. They do have rather nasty little spiky spines on the back though, as do a lot of fish, and you can actually inflict quite a nasty little spike on yourself. Have you ever come across red gurnard? They're really evil. You know, they're one of the fish we're supposed to be trying to use instead of the more endangered species, and but they are fairly evil. Now this actually, I might just do it like this, because although they will have bones in, and a lot of customers just, you know, they just don't like bones, you know. I'm sorry, fish have bones, you know. But we've got away with recently, and I know the boys in the seafood restaurants are doing a lot more fish on the bone. And to me, it makes sense, because you get a much nicer product at the end of the day, and you get, I think, it cooks better on the bone. So I'm going to just cut steaks of it. I might fillet the last wee bit of it. So I get sort of 4 nice round steaks off it. That'll fill up my dish. And this is the way I would have had it originally whenever I had this sort of dish the first time. I'm not even sure what the actual fish was the first time. There is in the stomach area, there's this nasty sort of black stomach lining, which I like to remove. Doesn't look very nice in the finished dish. And they're eventually going to end up in this Pyrex dish, so we'll stick them in there for the moment. The onions have softened quite nicely, and the peppers. And we're going to put, these are nice little sweet cherry tomato type ones, so these will actually be quite sweet, but we'll taste it before we do anything rash with it. bit early, really. Something with the chef. Oh, and the dill. I nearly forgot the dill. So we're sweating down the tomatoes and the peppers, and the idea is to get the tomatoes to melt into the sauce, okay? We'll let that bubble up in a wee minute, and then we'll go back to it. Okay, so we've had this simmering for a wee while, and it's softened all the vegetables down. And we're going to add a little bit of white wine just to make a bit more sauce element. So what we're going to do now is we're going to just finish this sauce off. It needs to be a little bit more spicy, so I'm going to use a little bit more of this this chili. Just be cautious with that one. And a couple of other ingredients. Secret ingredient is tomato ketchup, and you're all throwing your hands up in horror now, I can tell. But to my mind, if it's good enough for Michel Roux, it's good enough for me. Okay? He actually admitted on television the other day that he loves McDonald's as well. So there you go. 3-star Michelin chef. But what it does is tomato ketchup actually just gives you a little bit of sweetness. And maybe instead of the sugar, just to finish the sauce off, it gives you a nice richness. Might put a little bit more dill in it as well, I think. To get the dill thing going. I'm sorry to keep going on about dill, but I do love it, and certain times of the year it's very hard to get dill. I mean, this what we're probably using is Israeli dill at the moment. A wee bit of salt. The nice chili flavors just at the back of the palate there. Nearly put my finger in it. I won't do that. Yeah, the dill, the chili, nice sweetness of tomatoes and peppers. It's all coming together well. So, I'm going to put this into the bottom of this dish, not all of it, because we're going to make a sandwich with it. Trying to do it in the authentic Greek manner. Or it could be the authentic Italian manner, or any southern Mediterranean area you want to think of. I'm going to set our nice steaks of hake in here. And more sauce on top. I'm a great fan of baking fish. It keeps all that flavor in. You're not losing anything to the frying pan. So this is also quite healthy. And I mean, I know chefs aren't renowned for their care for your health, but you know we have to be a little bit aware of these things these days. So this has got vegetables. There's not an unusual amount of fat in it. There we go. So this is going to go into the oven now for about, I'm going to time it on that little phone here, for about, I would say about 20 minutes, okay? So you can see a lovely, meaty piece of hake there. And just because it's there, nice sprig of dill on top of the plate, and we'll all tuck into that in a wee minute. So that was my signature dish. You can find out more information at www.mourneseafoodcookeryschool.com.